cameras at the same time happening right now.
You want to see our triple live video?
Are you impressed?
Oh, y'all are killing it.
We're on
getting notifications for our own.
Oh my
lives.
God, we are. This is wild. Yeah, we're doing. Is this a world record that we're setting right now?
We should try to set a world record.
We should
for
look
this.
up how many phones and/or cameras people use.
We got 3 phones shooting us right now.
This is crazy. I don't know where to look.
If you want to donate your phone, we can get another one.
Let's get another one going. Let's go on live on TikTok too. We're everywhere right now. This is amazing.
This is our first triple live event.
A triple live event. It's revolutionary.
I wish also on Instagram you could do a title for your live.
That would be
It's like
fun.
the only one that doesn't have that feature, I think.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I don't know. I'm not a live goer. Without you, I would never ever go live ever. As long as
Sunny would know. She's over here on this one.
Okay.
She does lives on Instagram a lot.
Well, I guess we want to tell everybody what we're doing right now. Should we, other than just being live on lots of cameras at the same time?
We can give people a minute to kind of get in there.
Cool.
You can title your lives. How?
Teach us.
You have to tell me later.
Yeah. DM us. We don't know.
I don't know how to do that. It doesn't like show up in an obvious way, I guess.
It doesn't
on
prompt
my account.
you. Yeah, it doesn't
But
prompt
also
you.
my account is stupid. Instagram doesn't like me.
Oh.
It doesn't give me all the new features that
That's-
like it get.
Really?
I had to wait 2 years to get Reels after everyone else had Reels.
Are you serious? And you're a person who actually wants Reels. Like I probably had
Yeah,
access.
I really needed it, but it didn't matter.
I probably had
didn't
access,
care.
but never cared.
I kept like, I for a while it was like every other day I was reporting it as a problem on my account because it was just pissing me off so bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's super interesting.
Also, you can go to the settings and you can download your account information. Like it'll send it to you in a day or two. I do it, and every time it waits like a month and a half, and then it's like, sorry, there was an error, couldn't do it, too bad.
That's
I tried it
crazy.
like 4 or 5 times. It doesn't like me, so I also wouldn't be surprised if I just don't have
if
some
it's just,
live features that other
yeah,
people have.
access denied. That might be a thing.
You know.
Oh,
We've got. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody.
Hello,
we have
everybody.
some people. Let's get into the
Okay.
convo we have planned for today. We have a set topic.
yes, we do.
Yes.
So we, in case you guys haven't been following our story and kind of checking in with us, we have been working on and we've completed, haven't released yet, it's not done being edited, but an amazing workshop for you guys that we are really excited to share where we have mixed together our 2 passions, so astrology and psychology.
Once again,
Once
we
again.
have mixed them together.
Not just for the podcast, but we did this as a whole separate thing. We've been taking a break between season 3 and season 4 just to kind of really kick off season 4.
Which we've never done. We've never taken a break
We've
from the
never.
podcast in 3 seasons, like 3 years.
Yep. But we took a break to work on another thing for you guys. So we've been working this whole time. It's been a working break, but we've been just doing a different side project, getting it all ready to launch for you guys. And within the next 2 weeks, we will have a new episode for you guys. We're launching season 4, so don't worry. We're not taking a super long break for the podcast, but
yeah, no, it won't be much longer.
It won't
You
be
guys
much
will have
longer.
so much to look forward to here in a couple weeks.
Yes.
We're going to be finishing up this workshop we've been putting together, which is amazing.
yes.
And then we'll be starting, beginning
a new season.
season 4
Yes,
of
season
the
4.
podcast. So we've got only a few people on here, so do you want to tell them who we're going to cover?
Oh, okay.
As a
So
sneaky peek.
season 4, episode 1, you guys, we are going to be covering the Menendez Brothers. It's a really famous case. It's an older case, but it has gotten a really interesting new popularity here recently, and we could see some big moves in this case very soon, which is kind of fun. I'm going to talk a lot about that in the episode. I'm really excited to share everything that I've really indulged in this case. Like, I've been familiar with it for a long time, but I've been going really deep in the research, which you guys know I love to do, especially with the extra downtime. I've been able to pour even more. I think I'm up to 20 plus hours on this episode alone.
It's going to be extensive.
Yeah.
Extensive.
It is. I'm trying to, it's more so like I feel like I almost don't need notes. I'm just going to have to like have something to keep me on
Like a
track.
reference.
When I over research something, it's like I have too much knowledge to share, but I'm going to try to bullet it for you guys. I'm really excited to do this case, and it's going to be obviously synastry charts off the walls where we have, the parents were the victims, the sons were the killers. So there's synastry there. There's synastry with each parent, with each of the sons. There's so much we can look at here with just those 4 charts.
I'm going to be pulling a lot of charts.
So it's going to be, because they all had really enmeshed, intertwined relationships. So it's going to be really cool to talk about and to look at, and going deep into some psychological stuff that's kind of was one of my most passionate sectors of my studies. So I'm excited for this one.
I'm excited too. I don't know about this story. I've obviously heard of it, but it's not like fresh, bringing up any information for me.
I like it best when you don't know, because it's like our notes will be identical. She will do her chart notes separately, and I will do obviously my research, and it's always like it matches.
And every time I start to look at it, I'm like, this seems like, what I would guess the story's about. Like, I don't think this is going to be right. But I'm like, well, this is what I see. And then every time I'm like, oh my God, that's why I wrote that. It's great.
It's really fun.
I love it so much.
So we're excited to kick that off, but now we're going to get into a little bit more of kind of a brief taste of our workshop and what we're going to be talking about. So it is self-actualization through the astrological houses. And we're combining these 2 subjects to give you a really well-rounded look at just human development across the lifespan and how it relates to your astrological chart and your own pathway. It's really cool. We're super pumped, and we're starting with each house at a time. So we're going to start with the first house, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the themes. We're not going to give you too much.
We're going to give you a good taste.
A good taste.
A good little tasty taste. And before we do that, I see some comments on this camera.
That's the dark alignment camera.
All right.
Okay.
A threesome, someone put, because we have three lives. Yeah. You guys are part of this live threesome.
That is what we're doing.
Okay.
It's amazing.
And then Jenny Not Weasley says, if I'm not mistaken, my old high school civics and economics teacher worked on that case some when he was an attorney. I might have the names wrong, though. I'll have to ask him.
Oh, man, yeah.
You do need to ask.
It's Eric and Lyle Menendez. So if you have any info on that you want to DM us, we'll totally shout you out of the episode.
Yes.
Always. Anytime we can find anybody who has a connection to the story and we get that information before we record, we're absolutely going to talk about it. So this is an open invitation for everybody.
Anyone who has a connection to a case.
Or a case we've already covered, which we've had
to do bonus content on our Patreon, and shout outs and little mini pieces of that content, put that all out there.
Speaking of Patreon, all of our patrons out there, you're going to get you're going to get special access to the workshop. So you guys are going to be the first ones who gain access, and you're going to get a special price. So Patreon,
you're going to want that discount.
We've got you.
Yeah, it's going to be a really nice one, because we really appreciate all the support from everybody.
Yes.
So much.
We can't even tell you how much it means to us. So.
And if you're just stopping in here, we're starting this workshop soon. It's going to be psychology and astrology mixed together. We're going to go through every house in depth and talk about the psychology of the house and that part of your life and the astrology side of it. It's really incredible.
It's just how it all correlates throughout the entire development cycle. So from birth to death, we go through all of it. And even one of my favorite things that I think I got to talk about was the 12th house. I really like talking about the 12th house and the psychology behind death and dying. I thought that was really fun. So we're going to give you little clips and sneak peeks as we go and get closer to the launch, but that was my personal favorite topic of this, I think.
It was so good. I think all of them I liked in their own way. Like there was something about it, I'm like, ooh, this part of this house is so interesting.
But obviously we're true crime. I'm the true crime girl on the podcast, so it's like when we got to talk about death a little bit in this, I got excited to talk about kind of the psychology behind that.
And the 12th house is really interesting. It's funny how we're talking about the 12th house. The 12th house is really interesting in terms of like crime and stuff like that, because it will also tie to isolation and like jail time and imprisonment. When the true crime cases, we have a lot of that. We have a lot of. It also will usually touch on like the 7th house of the legal aspect, mediation, and being in court. All of that is really interesting to look at in terms of the true crime cases.
I love it.
And the first house is more of like how they approach their life in general and how they identify. I think that that's always interesting, along with the 10th house, to be like how the criminal becomes known, like what he's known for. Because sometimes what they're known for is really the takeaway in these cases. Like, when we looked at Black Dahlia, she was a victim, and
Yes.
she had, I'm pretty sure, a Leo midheaven.
Yes, and a Leo sun.
And Leo sun. She had all this Leo, and she was just so well known for just like existing, and her whole situation, the whole story, the drama of it.
Yeah.
She was even, her body was even laid out on display.
Yeah.
For the whole like townspeople to see.
Yeah, it's always fun to mix these two subjects, and I think for the workshop what made it so cool is that we really had to isolate and kind of take the crime out of it. It did come into play several times because we always want to tie it back to what we do as
Right.
dark alignment, because it's dark alignment presents
Yes.
this workshop. So we've got the dark alignment name on it because it's
our
us.
work.
I mean, it's our work.
We did this.
And it ties directly into what we do, but it's just a little bit more of its own thing, and like how you can benefit from it, how you can relate it to your own development, how you can like understand if you're a parent, it might help you understand your child's development a little bit better, or if you have an aging parent, kind of understanding their end of life journey, or
Yes.
or your own aging process. There's so
Yeah.
many ways you can use this and benefit from it. So we thought it was just really fun to put it all together.
Especially in therapy, like if you're kind of going through your own mental health journey and trying to look back at your past and be like, what pieces were missing when I was like, what didn't get healed, or what didn't, like, what parts of me didn't get developed as healthily as I would like them to.
Right.
What's kind of holding me back in what I want to do, like what mindsets are flawed right now. I think that looking at this, like as we go through all the houses in this workshop, you'll really see like, oh, okay, maybe I think about this because of this placement on my chart, and I can adjust how I work that energy in my life.
Yeah. And I really think the cool thing about the first house when we talked about it is it encompassed so many psychological theories that it was one of those that's like, because it's the first house, it does not correlate with the first early stages of development, because it's a little bit more of a matured energy.
Yeah, it's kind of like before a lot of these theorists are like really focused on, because the first house is like you coming into life.
Yes.
You know, it's the moment of your birth. It shows your what was on the horizon right when you were born. That's why it's so important to get that birth time.
Yes.
So that rising placement, that ascendant is exact. Also to know where you were born is good. Getting the coordinates-ish, like the town is usually good enough.
Yeah. Like your entrance into the world is solid. And the thing about, you know, it being like the ego and the self and all these things, the only thing that's really, really solid at the time of birth, because there's so many things that mold us psychologically and even genetically, like there's a lot of
throughout your
things
life you do shift a lot, but there's some things like
that are a little bit hardwired. Yeah, your temperament is something that's hardwired, which is why it's like some babies are fussy, some babies are calmer, and they typically have that as a piece of their personality as they grow. So temperament is a fixed energy. It is really, I felt, that's what I really focused on for the first house, along with several other theories, but temperament is one of those that I thought directly related so much to the first house, because it is this like how you come off from the very beginning, like your very first impression on the world, and that's like kind of a thing you carry with you.
Absolutely, and it plays a lot into like your aura. I feel like too. I think that all your placements play into it, but I think if you're just passing by someone, they're getting like a quick read on you in person, like face to face, like they're gonna see your rising sign.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna really show to them. This, like I said, it's also called your ascendant. It can show a lot of your karmic things coming up too, like in the way that you came into this life from maybe a previous life, or maybe from just the way you want to look at it, I guess it would change this. But you're coming into this life at that time for a reason, with kind of a purpose behind that time. And we would say that that's a karmic thing, that your soul came in at that time under that energy, in that way, that rising sign, so you can face life in that way. And you're going to move through life with your first house first, and you're going to be seeing everything through that lens of that, whatever your rising sign is. So I'm an Aquarius rising, so I see everything through this like Aquarius lens. Or Brittany though, Virgo rising.
Virgo rising, and it is. I feel like it's my most dominant placement in my chart. chart, like when I really look at my big three, like my Virgo rising sort of like dominates the other signs, and I'm a Pisces sun, so we've got opposition in my like big three there, and I have a Libra moon that's kind of just feels like it's trying real hard to keep everybody okay in there. But I definitely see life through this Virgo lens, and I really love structure, and I really love a schedule, and I really love things like details of things, and I can be pretty meticulous with how I like things and very particular, and it's like sometimes those qualities frustrate me about myself, but I also realize those are the same qualities that keep me very productive and really good at time management, and with my job it ends up being a really nice benefit. Like I'm known as being the person who's organized, the person who's got it under control.
That's how people around you see you.
Yeah.
Also for work situations too, just a side note.
You know I hate my 10th house.
Your coworkers probably see you as more of like a Gemini type of vibe because of your...
I'm so sorry to all my coworkers. And nothing against Geminis. I personally struggle with Gemini energy. My Chiron is there, and it's a person in Virgo. So
So Virgo energy is always hard on me.
Yeah.
And then I always get Virgos as like something like that really matters in my life. You know, like like a boss or like a parent of my best friend or like something like that, or like my co-host on the podcast, like all these important people come up with Virgo energy, and I've gotta heal all my Virgo traumas. But everyone's getting their own things.
Right. I think you're doing a great job. Also.
So if you have things like Chiron in the first house, this is going to be a lot of you having some kind of vulnerability about showing up in the world. You having some vulnerability about, I mean, not even in the world, but just showing up as yourself.
Yeah.
Like owning who you are, feeling okay to be yourself and express yourself, feeling like you can handle like choosing what you want to do with your life, like in the moment. Like I think that this is more of like a self-trust type of situation than like I have a grand plan for my life thing, because that's more 10th house.
And my moon is in my first house, right next to my south node.
My moon is also in my first house.
Right next to it.
Moon in the first house, you're gonna be kind of wearing your feelings are gonna be up front. It might be hard for you to hide what you're feeling, like in your face and your expressions. It might really like show through a lot.
I think I'm hiding it, and then I'm informed real quick that, hey, what's wrong? I get that. And I'm like, how does everybody know? It's not fair.
Let's see, we have another comment here.
What do we have?
That's going to be amazing. I have to go, but I knew I was called to this live for a reason. Yes, you were. And they'll ask him right away. I'm right. I'll definitely give you any scoop I can. Perfect.
Awesome.
Absolutely perfect.
That's fantastic.
I'm so excited. And then Earth to Chrissy. I almost said Kissy for some reason. Hi, I just discovered you guys while looking up the dark astrology of Selena.
Ooh, yay!
Y'all's podcast will most definitely be in my rotation. Thank you so much.
Yay!
Oh my God. They said, oh my God, my boyfriend is a Pisces sun and moon with a Virgo rising.
What? Okay, so he gets it.
He probably
feels like
gets
the same opposition energy, but and having Virgo in the moon too, or no, Pisces sun, Pisces moon. Wow, that's
double Pisces.
That's a lot.
Virgo rising.
Pisces is such an intense energy that like it's
That
just
is.
crazy that Virgo can drive it out. That's I wonder what he feels is more dominant.
Right.
If he feels that Pisces energy with two of them there can outweigh the Virgo still.
And no Libra to try to balance things
right.
out. Unless there's some other placements, but I mean in Libra.
I've wondered how I would deal with having a different moon. I have thought of that many times. I'm like, man, if
I have too.
Yeah.
And rising.
Mm-hmm.
I like Aquarius as a rising. Sometimes Aquarius moon makes me feel weird.
Yeah.
Everything Aquarius will make you feel kind of weird.
Yeah. I love Aquarius, but I love all the fixed signs, so it's kind of a.
Yeah.
I'm drawn to the fixed signs. Like, okay, so she's a Scorpio sun, Aquarius moon, Aquarius rising, and my boyfriend is he's a Taurus sun, Leo moon, Leo rising. So I love the
she
fixed
just
energy.
picks the opposite of me.
Yes, and that's what I do.
And that's
I pick one
She's
with all the
always
fixed
around.
signs.
She's always involved with one of the
Mhm.
one of the halves of the fixed signs.
Yep.
Yeah.
I need one of them to be my ride or die bestie, and I need the other one to be my ride or die partner. So that's how it works.
Well,
It's
I'm honored
amazing.
to be on one of those sides.
It's fun.
No, I like to date as like close to myself, but a little different. I like a lot of Scorpio.
Mhm.
I have 5-6 placements in Scorpio.
God, that's
and then,
crazy.
And then the other ones are like, anyway. I like to also date somebody who has a lot of Scorpio placements.
Yeah.
But I've learned not with a Pisces moon, and not with a strong Virgo placement. For me.
That makes sense.
For me. For other people, great. The Pisces moon was just real awful, and like he was real kind of like not there, like he'd be there and be all like Pisces emotional with me,
Yeah.
and then he'd just be like gone.
Okay, well.
For like weeks at a time, just totally gone.
Wow, that's
And then he'd be
hardcore.
like, hi.
That's really hardcore.
It was very like elusive, like I don't know, very
Okay,
Pisces-y.
yeah. Illusion-y and like kind of here
yeah.
and there and like dreamy, but like gone.
Yeah, weird.
I get it.
And then Virgo obviously triggered my Chiron
Yeah.
too much. There's too much like struggle.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to have that.
Mhm.
Like, my partner has the same Chiron that I do, so
Same.
it was like yes, that's it.
I do recommend that for couples.
Yeah, does your partner have the same Chiron placement as you, or have you ever looked at that?
Mhm.
If not, take a look and let us know. We'd love to hear.
Yeah, if you were born within like the same year-ish, you probably do.
How close in age are you guys? You're guys like
We're
a couple
we're
weeks
2
apart.
weeks apart.
Wow.
Dakota and I are 2 weeks apart.
And Ryan and I are 10 months apart. He's
Wow.
10 months older than me.
Man.
But he would have been in a different grade in school because he
Mhm.
would have had like just enough difference. He would have been one grade
That's
above
right.
me. But we're like not even a year apart, so it's interesting
That's
how it
kinda
kind of falls.
Yeah, but when you have your Chirons in the same place, especially, or even if even in the same house, would also kind of do this.
Okay.
So even if you were in different years, you could still both have them in the 5th house, or both have them in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the more similar they are, the more you're going to be able to relate to each other's struggles and vulnerabilities in life, and how you guys are moving forward trying to overcome those, having similar coping mechanisms. You can like help each other with what you've figured out on your own. I think that it just helps you relate in like a whole nother way. If it's a bad type of aspect with the Chirons, it might kind of show like a trauma bonding situation.
That doesn't sound healthy at all.
Not the healthiest. No. If there's too much stress on those Chirons, it might not be beneficial. But like, look for some nice ones and try to have similar ones is my recommendation.
I like that recommendation.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, it happened for me organically, and I didn't realize it until much later. It's like, oh, that's in the same place. How cool.
How cool.
How cool.
What else in the first house? We'll do like 1 or 2 more. And then we'll talk about the workshop again.
I was only going to talk about temperament. I'm not sure what else I want to talk about. So I don't want to give away all the workshops.
No, not
things,
about
but
no. We're giving a taste. But I was talking. We were doing houses, or we're doing planets in the first house just now.
Oh, okay.
Remember we did
Yeah,
we did the moon and we did Chiron and
What
what
about
else?
Venus in the first house?
Venus in the first house makes you come off so adored. You're gonna be adored by everybody. Like it's.
Did Selena have that placement? Because
don't
I remember
remember.
she had certain placements where you said like,
Mhm.
this is, because I felt just this love and draw to her. Like, oh, I
think
just
she
love
did.
her.
Also like Mars and Jupiter or something.
Yeah, she had something where you were saying
Mhm.
like, this is what gives her that, like why everybody
Mhm.
just loved her. Like it was, she was so
Yeah.
adored by people. She's the first person who came to mind, but I don't know if she had that placement. But
I'm not sure either. My fridge makes this crazy noise sometimes.
what was that? That
I
was.
think it has to do with the ice machine.
I thought
Ice
there was a
maker.
plane landing on the house for a minute. I was like, that was crazy.
And when you guys know how to fix that, let me know.
Also, could you guys hear that? Like,
Oh
that was
god. on.
could hear that. That's fine.
Let's see. They say he has a Pisces stellium in his 7th house, so
Okay.
he looks at life through that Pisces lens. With Pluto in his 4th house, his life and relationships are in that Pisces lens.
Yep. My Pisces sun is in the 7th house, and Pisces rules my 7th house. So I like that too.
When you have stelliums, when you have a lot of placements in something, like your energy will lean to that direction. Like even if
I don't have any stelliums in my chart.
I know yours is very spread out.
I had a controversial Sagittarius stellium. You said I had like 3. I have some asteroids there along.
Yeah, it was like something that not everybody was.
Saturn and
stellium.
Maybe Pallas. It was like a couple of random things that were there.
Mm-hmm.
1 planet and 2 asteroids. So that's the only.
Sometimes that's how it goes.
That's the closest thing I have to a stellium. Is there anybody else out there who does not have a legit stellium in their chart? Because
there's definitely a lot of people.
Totally don't.
It's more common to not have a stellium.
Really? Because everyone I know has all these awesome stelliums, and I'm really jealous.
You just hang out with stelliums.
Yeah, my boyfriend has a Taurus stellium. And maybe a Leo one too. I know he's got a lot of Leo.
Yeah, because especially if it's where your sun is, because Mercury and Venus tend to stay pretty close to the sun.
Yeah.
And then if the moon goes pretty fast, that could come by there. If the sun is transiting anything big, like slow moving, like Jupiter or Saturn, then when Venus and Mercury come up, they'll be right there too.
Yeah.
So it would just have to be the right timing.
Oh, I have another one just because I'm curious. What about Saturn in the 1st house? Is that really hard? That sounds hard.
Yeah. So you face life with this sense of doing things by the rule book.
Okay.
Doing things the traditional way, and all this kind of sense of restriction and structure, and it can be really good. In the way that you want structure in your life, you make choices that will give you structure in your life. But also it can make you feel really restricted in being able to be yourself, show up as yourself. It makes you feel like you're kind of blocked in by something. There's always something kind of there. And when I talk about it, even though I also have the moon there, they're actually right on top of each other. And then in Aquarius too, it makes it where I kind of process things more mentally than I'll tend to not process emotionally and just do the mental stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then having Saturn there too, it's like the moon and Saturn are always kind of fighting a little bit.
Yeah.
We're gonna feel this out. No, this is the way we do things.
Wow.
But it's interesting for sure. I think that Saturn in the 1st house, a lot of Saturn aspects, depending on what type of aspects they are, can be really big indicators of anxiety and depression. Mm-hmm. Where if you have Saturn in the 5th house, where you're supposed to be feeling joy and creativity and all of that stuff, it could be kind of dampening that, kind of stifling that, kind of bringing down the mood.
It's a low vibe.
It could show up. It could manifest as a depressive situation. 1st house can make you feel restricted to be yourself. So it's what's the point of me being living if I can't live it fully? So that's kind of depressing. Yeah. Or it can make you anxious, you're not doing everything the right way. You're not doing it the way it should be done.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's could be really good and bad at the same time. Just depends on how it shows up on the rest of your chart altogether. And then, let's see, Jupiter.
That was going to be my next one. I was going to see what you said. That's what I was thinking. I sent it to you subliminally.
You did. You did. Oh, let's see what else here. Oh, a Taurus stellium in your 12th. That's cool.
That's awesome. I love a Taurus stellium.
We love them Taurus stelliums.
I'm a big fan of just Taurus energy in general.
I think all my energy is so away from Taurus. When I'm around Tauruses, I'm I can't read you.
I know you never read anybody that I date. She's like, I don't. Did they have a good time or no? And I'm like, are you serious? You couldn't tell? It's so funny. And to be a Scorpio,
I can read everybody.
To not be able to read them, I'm like.
But it's literally direct opposite on my chart, and I don't really have anything over there.
Yeah.
So I have nothing in Taurus. And
That's crazy.
I guess the house. What else? I might have Taurus intercepted. I gotta check.
Okay. Yeah, let me know.
But
I'm
yeah,
curious.
I have a hard time. I wonder if you guys feel the same way. Can you kind of pick up? Do you get along well with the people who have opposite sun sign as you, or if you have a stellium the opposite of your stellium sign? Because
Yeah.
at least for me in my chart specifically, it's hard for me to like understand Tauruses. Like we get along fine and I'm nice. I can't get like the full read that I usually do.
I've noticed this. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, because my rising sign is opposing my sun, I get along, like, I get that energy.
Yeah.
So I don't know that if Virgo wasn't my rising sign, I don't know that I'd understand Virgo energy, but I feel more like a Virgo than I do a Pisces most of the time.
Yeah. It's very, very weird.
It's hard to lean into the Pisces energy. It was easier for me when I was younger, and like the older I get, the more Virgo I become. It's
You're also going to become more Aries with your
North Node stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna get real fiery as we get older, guys. Buckle
it's hard for me to
Buckle up. I'm going the Sag route. Got Sagittarius North Node, and she's got an Aries North Node. So we're just gonna start booking it.
So we started this podcast as water signs. We're gonna end it
as watery fire.
As watery fire signs one day. We're never ending this podcast. I want to do this podcast forever. I love it so much.
It's really great. I do think the breaks are good, and making these workshops is so fun.
Yes, I can't wait to release the workshop. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. I hope you all love it. I know you guys are gonna love it, and hopefully benefit a whole lot from just
absolutely
this perspective that we don't get a chance to ever really dive into. We're always looking at a specific chart or a specific person's psychology. So to really just go from birth to toddler to grade school to all of that, look at it, how it correlates and corresponds to the house system and development. It was just so much fun to talk about all of it.
It really was, moving through the entire life.
And with this workshop, it's a house at a time. So you'll have a video for each house. You'll have a few side videos too, to kind of help you get more out of it.
Yes.
So they're kind of extra tools that we give you and a little bit of bonus content that we give you at the end. But, you know, that way after you complete the whole thing, if you ever want to go back and like really focus on one of the houses we covered, you can go back to that and like dive a little bit deeper. So
yes, really working through everyone individually, and then with some extra stuff to really give you the bigger picture, give you the big idea of it all.
Yes.
I think we did I think it's like 16 videos altogether.
It's a lot.
And I don't even know how many hours of content.
It's a lot of content.
Really high value, really in depth, really detailed, but we're fun. So
yeah,
you can listen to us forever.
We put a lot into it. I mean, it's not dry. It's very fun. It's not just us listening facts. So we have a good time. We're still ourselves, the way we are on the podcast. And we bring that same energy here.
You know, we wouldn't want to do it if it was boring.
No, I'm not motivated by anything other than fun. So it's one of those things.
Where's your Mars again?
Taurus. It's in the 8th house. I don't know. I like to have a good time.
Yeah, you wanna enjoy the decadence of life. You're motivated.
I want to feel like luxury.
It could also show up as just value, like worth what you find worth doing. Or if you don't think it's worth doing, you're gonna be so unmotivated.
I know exactly what I don't want to do, and I'm never shy to voice it. I'm like, I hate this actually, and I don't. Or I will say no to something if I won't even pretend to want to participate in something that doesn't sound like a good time to me. Oh, we're getting some questions.
Let's see. Do you guys follow perfection years? And they said my Mars is in Taurus too.
Yes!
It's in my 12th house. We've got an Aries moon, Cancer sun.
Nice.
Very cool. Yeah.
It's my 12th house perfection year, I found out. And actually, you do a whole side video in this workshop about that and about interceptions. It's really cool. I learned a lot. I actually didn't know. I heard people say that stuff, and I was like, I don't quite know.
I should look into it. And I honestly, something I learned a little bit, a little bit later into my astrology education. I do talk about in a separate video after all the houses about how the perfection years play in, and how the interceptions play in. I'm gonna touch on like different house systems. There's something else, progression years too.
Yeah.
Progressions. I talk about not progression years, progression charts. So many of these words sound similar.
Words.
Progressions and perfection.
And I always thought people were saying perfection, profection.
Yeah.
Now my brain's like, oh, okay, I just didn't know what it meant, so I would just kind of sit quietly. Like, I feel like that's the thing that it, because we don't really talk about that on the podcast.
I would like to, though. I think it'd be interesting to talk about the killers, like their first kill, what perfection year they were in. That would be really cool. I don't think I want to do progressions on the podcast. I think that's going to get too nuanced and too much.
So with the Menendez brothers, the thing about it is they only killed one time, but they both killed the same day, and they were different ages, so they'll be different perfection years. So we can look at that and kind of compare, like,
that'd be cool.
Where Eric was. Eric's the younger brother, Lyle's the older brother, kind of where they that would be really fun. We're gonna have so much fun looking at those charts. We're so excited to bring you season 4. We've got some really, and actually we did a whole spoiler alert on our Patreon where we talked about some cases we are 100% covering this season. We kind of went through the time frame of like around Halloween season you can expect this one, and like in Sagittarius season we're doing this. So we talked about the season we wanted to do.
Patreon got all the details.
Yes, Patreon always gets all the details. So
they also get access to our archives where you can get the show notes, and you can look up all of the astrology charts from every episode.
Yeah.
Which I think is really, really great if you like to have a visual when you're listening to the podcast. Like you can hear us talking about the chart and then like see it with your own eyes and like see all the aspects. I think that's really, really helpful, at least for me.
And honestly, my show notes are hilarious. Like I do some really ridiculous things just to entertain myself. So whenever she decided, she was like, we should start putting these on.
Like people need to see this.
Yeah, people need to see what this is. Like, because I really do have a good time. Like I used to do that in school with my homework too. I would just put stuff in there that was funny to help me remember it, and I would just kind of like summarize but make it funny. And would go back when I was studying for a test, and it would crack me up. I was like, I'm so glad I did that for myself. I knew I'd be bored studying this, and I'd need something to make me feel good. See, again, I'm motivated by fun. I'm gonna totally like surprise myself with little fun things in a Virgo-driven.
It's almost like you're like challenging yourself to enjoy it, because you have Mars square Venus.
Yeah.
And Venus is what you want, and then Mars is how you get it, how you do it.
Yeah.
So it's like this little like challenge thing almost.
That
it's
is
very interesting.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna make it fun. Like I'm gonna make it something I enjoy.
It's exactly.
It's not just inherently you enjoying it.
No.
Like you have to like. I hear you say that all the time. I'm gonna make myself enjoy the rest of my night.
I'm going to force myself to have a good time.
I'm gonna give myself this so I will have a good time and move forward.
I absolutely show up with that rigidity.
Because it's in form of a square. It's like a conflicting, like more friction aspect. Oh my God.
Great.
Let's see. Second house perfection year over here. Yeah, everybody tell us your perfection years, please. That'd be awesome.
Tell us.
Next time we're gonna have to put this one closest to us.
Okay.
We've got all the comments over here.
I know all the comments are on that one.
Let's see. Your 11th house perfection year. You didn't follow it before, but now I've noticed the connections, making so many friends. My Aries sun sits in my 11th house, so you're having fun this year. I love that. I love that. I think I'm in a 5th house perfection year. I'm having fun.
That is fun.
I'm having fun.
So I'll start a first house one next year. Does that mean it's going to be a good time? What is it's going to be fresh newness?
Might be more focused on yourself, on like your identity and stuff like that, you know.
All right, I guess.
Yeah, and then 11th house, definitely like kind of networking, reaching out, making more acquaintances, maybe even like more social media, like reaching the masses. Maybe more like thinking more about like advocating for change that you think is meaningful.
I like that.
It's really good stuff.
Very nice.
Really good stuff. I'm a little bit stressed about my 6th house perfection.
Oh.
After my birthday this year.
I'm here for you. I'm here for you and all your Virgo things that come up.
I'm like,
I'm here for
do
you.
I really have to do just skip a year, leap year this.
Leap year it?
Can I
I
like
bet you
leapfrog
can.
it? Like it's the same thing.
I bet you can.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
You've been on here a while.
we stayed on here longer than we wanted to originally, but we're
we're
having so much
fun.
fun with you guys, and we're motivated by fun.
Absolutely.
She's at least motivated by fun.
I'm so motivated by fun. I'm gonna make it fun.
I'm partly motivated by fun, but like I think the journey, because my Mars isn't Sag.
Oh no, I want the journey to be like short and sweet and a good time. I'm not.
Very Aries.
But also like the Taurus energy is
Yeah.
always slow, and I just want it to not be.
Mm.
Everything moves so much slower than I want it to. I feel like I'm ready for stuff to just happen. I'm like, no, I need all of the dominoes to fall down right now. Because I don't want to wait for them to fall down one at a time. I want it all to happen today. Let's get all the change.
I get impatient too with my chart.
Yeah.
The Earth signs are the more patient ones typically. They're like moving through, especially if you got like a moon in an Earth sign, sun in an Earth sign, something like that. But really, the moon I think is a big one. Because I kind of feel like you can't move much faster than how you emotionally process something. Like, unless you're just totally bypassing your feelings, which I think a lot of them try to do for a long time.
I agree with that.
Yeah, just like block it out, keep going because you feel like you need to or you want to.
That's the practical thing to do. Like, kind of, it's just to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all your Earth moons, just try to feel your feelings.
Try. It might be hard, and you might not feel like doing it, but it's a worthwhile event. It's a good adventure to go on.
It's a really good adventure.
All right. Well.
Yeah. If you guys don't have any other questions about the first house, I think we're gonna move on with our evening. We're gonna go live on Patreon if you guys want to join us there.
So all our patrons, don't go anywhere. You guys are gonna be here for our live. We're actually gonna show you guys what we do for our full moon rituals. So I know everybody kind of has them. We're going to talk about some different ones. We're actually going to do one with you guys on Patreon tonight. I'm really excited about it. We put together some really fun stuff. You're going to get to learn a lot about us. It's going to be a little bit personal, which is fun. We are always, like on the podcast, I feel like there's a good veil, like kind of with how
boundary.
personal.
Yeah.
A boundary.
A healthy boundary.
Of like how personal we can get. But Patreon, we get pretty raw on Patreon.
Oh my god, our last Patreon
Oh
was
my God.
so fun. It was so funny. You guys need to hear about this at least.
Okay. We did serial killer makeovers. We decided that some of the serial killers
They just need a little...
They need some help. They're not looking their best. We want them to look... we want them to have a hot girl summer. So we decided to start with John Wayne Gacy, and we gave him some incredible makeovers. And what we did, we put Patreon like above us, and we had a partition where you guys could see what we were doing for our
We both
makeover.
had a headshot of the
John Wayne Gacy.
of the person. And we couldn't see each other, but we did a little makeover.
Y'all could see it all.
And then at the end, we chose which one was the best.
We surprised each other and got to look at each other's artwork. It was so fun. It was so funny. And next time, we're doing Casey Anthony.
We're going to do murder makeover for Casey Anthony.
Yeah, she needs a new look. We all
She
saw,
really does.
She looked terrible in court.
Even honestly before court, in my opinion.
Yes, she just looked...
But part of this is, you know, usually when you insult someone's aesthetic or something, like you're like don't want to really make fun of them. That's mean. But like, are we really that concerned about making fun of killers?
No.
Like,
if
their ego gets hurt.
Killers who are just terrible people in general. Even if they're found not guilty, sometimes they're just awful people.
If their ego gets hurt, I'm not gonna be upset that I heard it.
We're doing them a favor by giving them this incredible makeover. John Wayne Gacy looks fabulous. My John Wayne Gacy had a gorgeous fuchsia beret. And it looked like, what did I call it? I called it Paris in Spring was the name of my, we both gave our pictures titles.
I gave him some really cute pigtails.
And
super cute, kind of like, who's it?
Reminded me of Billie Eilish a lot?
No.
But who, I don't know.
No.
I don't know. It's
Harley Quinn.
Oh yeah, it looks a little bit like Harley Quinn.
Like Harley Quinn makeover on my side. You guys really need to see these. They were so funny.
They were so good. And you called yours Angry Grandma at a Rave.
Yeah, sad grandma.
Sad grandma.
I made him depressed.
Oh yeah, because he was a clown.
Because he was a clown, I wanted to to make him sad clown instead of happy clown. You know what I mean?
What we're trying to say is that we're incredible at makeovers and
really great at makeovers. If any of our Patreons would like us to give them a makeover, we'd also be honored.
Send us a photo and we will do a makeover review on Patreon.
And so this is gonna be a big series that we're gonna do on our Patreon just for our patrons.
Yep, it's a fun short clip.
And if you guys do makeovers with us, you send us the.
We'll post it on our story.
Post it.
Patreon, if you want to do a makeover challenge with us and then send us a picture of it, we're going to post it on our story and honor you guys. So
we also did this great one where we matched them up like matchmaker style.
We played the serial killer dating game and we thought they all needed to date each other. So we paired up all our killers that we've covered on the podcast. Yeah, we have a good time on Patreon. We also did the Astrology of the Senses, which was a whole series.
Oh yeah, we did some more educational ones too,
Yeah.
and like fun educational ones, kind of like how the energy shows up in different ways, like through the senses, like.
And we even like got really fun. At one point, we decided that all cheese was a Pisces sun, and then we gave the different types of cheese a different rising. It was really fun. That was when we did the food. It was the senses, but I think it was taste.
Yeah, I think it was
that
taste
was for
one.
taste.
We went through different foods and assigned them astrological placements.
It was so much fun.
Very great.
We did it with smells. We did it with taste. We did it with all the different senses. So it was a lot of fun to talk about.
And we're it's so much fun making this workshop, and we're really excited. If you want to stay up to date, if you want to stay in the loop on what's happening with the workshop, make sure we have your email.
Yes, we need your email address.
I'm going to be posting in the story on the Dark Alignment account every couple days with an answer queue so that you can put your email in there, or you can just message us directly with your email if you know you want this. Or if you
just want our newsletter. You know, we're also going to start sending out our newsletters. So if you want to just sign up
our first newsletter, guys.
And stay in touch with us and get some extra content that you're not going to get on social media and you want it directly in your inbox, we're not going to spam you, I promise. We're going to do this
I don't like to spam.
No. Like you're not gonna.
When something is important, that's when you're gonna get an email.
Yes, we're not just gonna flood your inbox because we can. We don't have that kind of time.
You're not gonna become our new journal entries.
Yeah, we don't have the time nor the energy to spam you. So you're only gonna hear from us when we have like hot content to give you.
Yes.
Or like really important updates. So.
Yes, it's gonna be really, really awesome. Make sure we have your email so that you can stay in the loop for sure about the workshop, because it will be like a limited space situation.
Yeah. You'll want to reserve your spot.
Yeah, we'll have a pre-enrollment time, and then we'll have our regular enrollment time. It's going to be really awesome. I'm really excited for everybody to start getting in there.
Yes.
And we will let you know on as many platforms as we can. But if you have given us your email, that's how you're really gonna for sure get a spot.
Yep, and you don't want to miss out, so be sure to stay in the loop so you get access to that. And I guess that's all we have. Are we ready to end this threesome of a live?
We're going to conclude our threesome tonight.
Our threesome is over. We hope you're as satisfied as we are. Thank you guys so much for always supporting us, and don't forget to chart all the bitches in your life, and we'll see you in season 4.
See ya.
Bye. Okay, how do we end all of these?
We have